Dexter is the owner and creator of Method Escape in Fresno and Crisis Rooms in Frankfurt, Illinois. Being a magician at heart, it is no surprise that his curious nature landed him owning not one, but two different escape rooms in two very different time zones. Dexter is here to share his knowledge on building, owning, and consulting escape rooms. Let's start the conversation right here on Find Your Escape. Welcome back to another episode of Find Your Escape. I am Amanda Contreras, your host, and I'm here with Dexter, the owner and creator of Method of Escape and Crisis Room. Method of Escape is in Fresno, California, and Crisis Rooms is in Chicago, Illinois. Frankfurt, Illinois, yes. Illinois. Awesome. So, Dexter, thank you so much, number one, for being here. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to talk with me for just a little bit. But tell me about you, your background, how you got started in the escape room, all of that jazz, and I'll leave it to you.
All right. Well, I guess you could say I started off pretty much in the entertainment industry. I've been a performing magician for 29 years now. In 2004, late 2003, early 2004, I started working with Chris Angel doing the Mind Freak television show. Myself and two other magicians were the ones who were, researching the effects, teaching him the effects, stuff like that. So after that, I came back and I started in the haunted house industry. Of course, still performing magic, which I still do today. But somebody approached me from a very well-known haunted house out here and said, hey, have you ever thought about doing a seance? And I said, well, no, but that sounds kind of neat. Obviously, that's kind of on the magic side of the Halloween industry. And I said, give me till the end of the day. Let me think about this. So I called him back at the end of the day and I said, yeah, I think I could do this. He goes, okay, you're on. And I said, all right, how long do I have? He said, we open in a week.
Awesome.
So I had a week to put together a seance show, which, early seances were basically a magic show done in the dark. So I put it together. It wasn't great. I'll be the first one to admit that, but it was, for putting it together in a week, it was okay.
And no one's the best success their first time ever.
Well, no, and you've got to fail to at least have a starting point.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody is a smash success right out of the box. But again, it showed me a lot. I understood, hey, this is a haunted house. People are coming through and it's a high turnover. So you can't quite get away with the things you could in a traditional seance. So I started adapting and morphing to it. And, by the time I finished 8 years later, it was a completely different type of seance. And it was a really, really cool attraction, I guess you could say. And now I've done more seances than 90% of the people who said they've ever done any seances. And then from there, I went to escape rooms. So I brought a lot of the I guess you could say, techniques and ideas behind haunted houses and the stuff that I was doing at the time with the seance. I brought that stuff and it just kind of melted right into the whole escape room idea. And that's where I started. So that was 3.5 years ago.
Did someone just say, hey, do an escape room? Did you play one first? Did you know what they were about?
I had played a few. And again, keep in mind, this was back in 2015. So they've come a long way since then. Having said that, I had a blast. It was one that was in Southern California. It was in LA. Compared to what is out there right now, compared to what I'm doing right now, it paled in comparison, but it was still fun. It was a fun experience. And that was where I walked out going, wait a minute, I know how to do this way better. And no offense to them. I'm not saying I'm the best in the business. I'd like to think I'm, at least better than decent, but I already knew what it was that they were doing and what they were trying for. And they were missing a lot of the elements of what would make it a really great, experience.
Well, that's cool. Okay, so Method Escape Rooms, you said that was your first one? Crisis?
Crisis Rooms was the first one.
Crisis Rooms, and that's in Chicago. So
that's in Chicago.
Were you living in Fresno or were you living in Chicago?
Living in Fresno. Business partner that's in Chicago approached me and said, hey, we want to do this.
Got it.
We know you're the guy for it, so we want to fund it, want you to build it. So my role in it was building it. So there's five separate rooms there, and I've built them all from the ground up.
Cool deal. Okay, so tell me about the rooms. What kind of rooms do you guys have there?
Well, first one is apartment 10B. That was the first one we opened, and that's a serial killer's apartment.
Oh, very fun.
Yeah, and it's still, I mean, it's been, at this point in time, it's been open for right at 3 years, and I'd love to switch it out, but it's still our number one booked room.
Yeah, you know what? Our serial killer room is number one booked room, and I don't know what it is, but then again, like, I love serial killers. Not that I love serial killers, but
Right.
I love
Just
playing
the
their
idea.
rooms. It's just that mind thing. So it's just got that intriguing part that everyone loves to play. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So we've got that one. We have one called Interrogation, where you're in an FBI interrogation room, or at least the office. They have an interrogation room. So at one point in time, you get into the director's office and you can see through the one-way glass into the interrogation room. So that one's kind of you're trying to find the FBI agent on the take, so to speak, from the mob. Then we opened up a challenge room, which we're just getting ready to decommission and change it out, called Shadow of a Doubt, and it's a high-profile sports celebrity who's on trial for murder, and you've got to find the murder weapon that's apparently being hidden in the attorney's office.
Okay.
Then there's Infected, which a lot of people are doing zombie games.
Yep.
So again, none of ours are about actually escaping. Ours are about getting in and accomplish something. So in this one, you're in a biopharmaceuticals lab that has synthesized the cure for the zombie virus, and you and your party, everybody there has been infected. So you've got 60 minutes to find this cure and walk out of the door.
Got it. Okay.
And then the last one is called Silo, which is the one I'm probably the most proud of. And I'll send you pictures of it, of the room. It's beautiful. So it's a Titan II Cold War era nuclear missile silo.
Okay. Okay.
And a hacker came across the system not knowing what it was. It was a super secret, silo location that only the highest of the high clearance had even knowledge of. And by the time Reagan decommissioned, the nuclear decommission treaty, all of those people had passed away. So nobody knew it was there. And a hacker came across the system, woke it up. It tried to contact NORAD. Well, the entire system's been taken down. So it goes into failsafe and starts the 60-minute countdown timer.
Awesome. Okay. And then how many people can fit in each of your rooms?
Pretty sure all of them at Crisis Rooms are designed for 8 people, with the exception of the challenge rooms, which are 5 apiece.
Okay. So your challenge rooms, so you technically have 6 rooms, but 5 missions?
Yes.
Awesome. That's awesome. I love that. Okay. So I'm assuming team building is huge there.
It is.
You guys open 365 days out of the year? Do you guys have any days that you're closed?
We're the only day that we are actually closed is technically Mondays.
Okay.
However, we do have an on-call number. So if somebody really wants to play and they call give us a 2-hour notice,
yeah,
we can accommodate.
Awesome. That's great. Okay, so that's Crisis Rooms. Now, method of escape. Let's touch on that one real quick. That one's in Fresno. How many rooms are there?
That's 4 different rooms.
Okay.
The first one that we did, now keep in mind, when we purchased this location 2 years ago, it was an original Breakout location. So
okay.
From the Breakout franchise, it started in Manchester.
Right.
So we purchased the franchise, and then, of course, the first order of business was to change all the rooms.
Yeah, of course.
Bring them way up to speed. The nice part about the location was they were first to market. They already were well known, at least for the most part, more than any of the other escape rooms in the area. So they had that, they had their customer base already. So we purchased the location, and of course, the first thing for me to do was switch out all the rooms. So the first one we built was called Detention Bay. And it's a nod to a certain space movie with lightsabers and Jedis, if you will. But it is the trash compactor from the first Star Wars.
Awesome.
Now, of course, again, we're not trying to go for Star Wars or anything like that. We're not going to even mess with copyright infringement on anybody. But it is a space station trash compactor, so that's as close as we get to it right there. So you're going in there, and of course you have to get yourself out of the trash compactor. And if you can get into the computer, hopefully you can find the plans for the space station.
Okay, I like that.
The second one that we switched over is called Aftermath. And if anybody is a fan of video games and has played the video game Fallout, it is similar in concept to that. You're in a tech tomb, which is an underground vault or cellar, whatever you want to call it, that you're supposed to go into a state of hibernation for 2 years to ride out the nuclear holocaust, the fallout. But there's been all sorts of problems with the ventilation system because of all the earthquakes that the Earth's been experiencing after the nuclear war, and the ventilation system has been damaged, and you've got 60 minutes before you run out of air.
Okay, so that's the third room. Fourth room is?
That's the second room.
Oh, second
The
room, sorry.
Third room's Tombstone, which is based on the Red Sash Cowboys, Doc Holliday, Wyatt Earp.
Yeah.
So the object is for the players to go in and find the 5 sacred tribal stones and put them into a sacred place at the same time in order to break the curse. If they don't do that within 60 minutes, then the curse that the tribal heads have put on the town will come true, and the town of Tombstone will burn. And then the last one is one I just finished probably 2 months ago, and it's called War Games: Countdown to Extinction. So it's kind of a nod to the movie War Games, Matthew Broderick from a long time ago. But that's as far as that goes. Again, we try to come up with our own storylines and stuff like that. So even though the idea is there, there's never going to be anything copied, because that's just there's no creativity in copying. But this is instead of a Whopper computer like in War Games, this is a war server, which is weaponized automated retaliation. And there's a network of them all over the world, and they're located in sleeper cells. So this one is in Istanbul, Turkey. And all of these little war servers all communicate with each other, and they monitor everything as far as communications to tactical first strike warnings. So this one has been compromised by the enemy. They've installed a virus in it, and so this one's been compromised by the enemy. They've downloaded a virus to it, and the firewalls are holding for 60 minutes. And if you have to go in and remove the 3 hard drives, there's triple redundancy on it. So you have to remove 3 hard drives. And then with presidential override access, it opens a 4th door, which gives you 2 keys, and then a simultaneous 2-key turn shuts off the system.
So you purchased Method of Escape. They already had a really good list of customers, whereas Crisis Rooms, you guys had to build from the ground up. What's your marketing like? Did you find any differences? Did you find something new that you could try, or old systems? A lot of people really want to know how they can market their escape rooms better. And since you had one from 2015 and a new one that was already, in place, what are the 2 differences that you see, or what maybe you could help other people learn about things that you've tried and not tried?
Marketing is a difficult nut to crack.
Yeah.
What works in certain areas is not necessarily going to work in others.
I 100% agree.
I think, myself and the 2 companies that I have, along with countless other people, have probably suffered exactly the same way, scratching your heads and wondering what to do. A friend of mine owns a room in a part of Indiana, and she is the second to come in. And the first one is pretty much Gen 1. It's not, it's nothing special, nothing to write home about. Hers is way further advanced and really good as far as immersion goes. And he's always booked, and she's trying to get customers. So
that's so weird to me.
Yeah, it's a very, very difficult thing. Obviously, 5 years ago, radio would work. Right now, I wouldn't advise anybody to go radio unless you live in some, way off the beaten path town and everybody listens to the radio. But social media, obviously, Google AdWords. I mean, those are you're not dropping any bombshells on us there. But other than that, is influencers. So try to find the social media influencers in your town and get them in there. And if they like it, see if you can get them to, get them to do something on their social media and blast it. Hey, we just went to, ABC Escape Room and it was phenomenal. And if you, tell them you'll give them a promo code, and for every time somebody uses the promo code, you'll give them $2. And the promo code is, here's my podcast, '01, and use that promo code. And if you can build that sort of a social media marketing system, then you're probably going to be doing better than the rest.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good. Real quick, I want to touch on, you said that you love to build rooms and you build for other companies. Tell us about, do you offer your services? Do you sell your services? Do you have a website?
Yes, I do. I don't. I do build for other people. I consult. I've done quite a bit of that. I don't have a website per se, but you can get a hold of me through my email address, which is dexter@crisisrooms.com.
In order for anyone to book your room or to find out more about you, go ahead and give me Method of Escape phone number and website.
So if you're looking for booking on Method of Escape, you would go to methodofescape.com. All of our bookings are done online. We have very little walk-ins. The phone number happens to be 559-400-8926.
Okay, so that's in Fresno. And for your Chicago room, Crisis Rooms, go ahead and give me that one.
So as far as Crisis Rooms go, again, all booking is done online. And that can be found at www.crisisrooms, plural with an S.com. And the phone number there is 815-534-1256.
Brian, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today. Guys, that was it for the rest of our episode today. Brian, we'll see them next Tuesday. I'll see you in a minute. Just wave goodbye real quick and we'll say goodbye to everybody. Don't forget to subscribe and we'll see you guys next Tuesday. See you later.
Been a pleasure. Thank you.